Karibuni sana, welcome. How are you doing? It's welcome back, rather, to Daybreak. This being a beautiful Tuesday, you know how we do it. We always like to have different discussions about social issues and whatnot. And hopefully, when we have this discourse, either it becomes a conversation starter for you, or you learn something and you just shut up. It could be the lesson is to shut up. If that's what we're here to do, although no, Roberta will say it's important to communicate. So we are hoping you don't shut up. We're hoping you keep talking about it. All right, and I want to introduce the panel before we talk about, I tell you what we're talking about today. Start with Roberta Bobby.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Uko salama?
Niko fiti sana.
Uko freshi?
Niko freshi.
Umevaa hii kala kwa sababu inakaribia timu ya CJ. I think you're almost color.
Mimi na CJ u communicate hizi mambo. Lazima tupelekane na rada.
Sindio? All right, CJ Atembo, welcome.
How are you doing?
I'm super.
All right.
Kila kitu kiko tu sawa. Kila kitu kiko sawa. Acha tuachie hapo. And Shatta boy.
Wagwan.
You're doing well.
More lifting, man.
Things are okay.
Blessed.
Everything nice.
Give thanks.
Everything crisp.
More like
Wagwan, wagwan. Yeah. Later on, Shazmeen Bank will join us as well in the conversation. What is the conversation? Well, today there is a certain clip that has been doing rounds online, and I want us to listen to it, and then you'll definitely know what we're talking about. So let's listen to that clip first.
So she goes, Kitty, I did everything that you told me to do, blah, 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 blah. And mind you, I've talked to this man already. He's reached out to me. And everything that I taught them, everything I told them, utilize, implement, he's doing it now in the relationship that he is in. That was just the wrong woman. And I'm sorry, baby, if you see this video, I know I've already told you, you were just not the woman. So she asked me, Kitty, what did I do wrong? And I said, do you want me to be raw with you? And she said, yes. Okay. So I told her, okay, you had this princess syndrome where you felt like it always had to be me, 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 and everything that I said went. And that if I was not right, he was not going to be happy. You belittled him. You emasculated him. I said, you didn't watch your tone. You reacted before you responded. You didn't take time to comprehend what it was that he was saying. And he heard you nagging instead of actually listening. You waited to play that number plus one game. Okay, this is a number of things that you have done to me that he's telling you. And then you say, well, this is a number of things that you have done to me plus one. You had a warped mindset to where you believe that, hey, it's going good right now and I need a little bit of attention. So bad attention is better than no attention. Instead of understanding that now you are transitioning into a healthier space. So there's going to be peace. It is going to be serene, but you didn't know how to adapt to peace and serenity because of your chaos from your childhood and your past traumas. You brought those into this relationship and you blamed him for the mistakes of your partner. I asked her, do you want me to continue? Because the list can go on. And everything that I told you to do, as you're saying you did it, you did not. You went back to what it is that you knew. And she said, well, Kitty, can I get him back? You can't get him back. You lost him and you should not be worrying about getting a partner back until you fix yourself. And the only way to fix yourself, as I always say, ladies, is to be accountable for your shit. And I understand it sucks when they move on. But I'm glad that he moved on because he was ready. It was the right time for him and you were the wrong person.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Morning TV. Anyway, a very interesting points were held there. I actually went to her page because somebody shared this with me. So I went to her page and on TikTok and the comment section, my goodness gracious. I was about to say Christ then. I remember them sitting next to CJ. But still, Jesus Christ! It was crazy. They did need a lot of Jesus in that comment section. But it was crazy. But it started off the conversation about sometimes, basically, it is the lady's fault. And not many people talk about that. If a relationship ends today, Roberta, the likelihood is that they will blame the man. Is this true?
Yeah, most times that's how it happens. Because mostly we're more vocal as a society about, you know, the shortcomings of men, and we tend to ignore that women as well can be very, very toxic, especially in their relationships, and that sometimes it's just women who are the cause of all these problems. So yeah, definitely, women are the start sometimes of all these issues.
But do they, is there a place, I'd like to know from a lady's perspective, is there a place kama wanawake mnafikanga wasema we, lakini yenyewe nimesukuma mtu sana?
It takes a lot of awareness.
Yeah.
But then if someone is toxic, they cannot tell themselves, they will not accept. The first response is that they're going to get very, very defensive. So it's very difficult for mtu mwenye hayuko aware just to sit with themselves and say, hey, nyewe, apo nime. You always just see you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right. And that's one of the biggest signs of toxicity. Because someone who's aware and someone who knows what they're doing is going to be able to take correction and take criticism, and is going to be able to see, okay, wow, what I'm doing is not right. So it just takes a crazy level of awareness. But then again, not many people are on this level. Not many people know a lot about what they're going through or what's happening or that they're even at fault. And that's why I keep saying we need to have these conversations so that you're able to notice the red flags and you're able to tell this is wrong, even within yourself. Yeah.
CJ, when it comes to taking accountability, there is there's a phrase I had where, you know, every time ladies will always take responsibility, not always. This is the phrase. I'm not saying, it's not a statement. That somebody said ladies will always take accountability, but there'll always be a but. Like, I'm doing this to you, but siata wewe, you pushed me to this.
Well, and you see, generally, when Roberta is talking about awareness, there are those who actually get to the place where they're aware. They're aware that they pushed you hard. They're aware that they did wrong. When they go back into their space, they know what they did. But they will justify it. They want to justify it by saying it is because. You know, like, I may have pushed Willis so hard, but again, it's because if he didn't do this, I would not have reacted like this.
The way I did, right.
So that makes the person then not take responsibility of their behavior. They want to make it look like they're being caused to behave in a certain way, instead of saying, this is who I am. Like, I'm just crazy. They don't accept that they're crazy.
Yeah.
And so they'll always put it on this person. And so when they move from Willis and they get to Shatter, then it's nearly the same thing. Then they start talking about, you know, all men are the same. All men are like this. But they don't realize that they're actually producing the same reaction in every environment because they just have the same default system. So it is hard for ladies, though, to normally take responsibility. People talk about male ego. They've not met the female ego. Oh, the female ego is way up there.
It's another thing altogether. Yeah, they talked about, and I was happy with, I really took note of Shatter's face when that clip was playing. And Shatter was all smiles. First of all, what about that clip, you know, kind of brought that sort of reaction from you?
Because wampatia reality check, wampatia maukweli. It starts with the word sorry. They don't know how to pronounce it, don't know how to spell it. Okay, pole, hawajui vile inafaa kuspeliwa ama kusemwa. Unaona, that is where it all begins. Watu entitlement, okay? It is my way. There is no or the highway. It is my way. Watakupin down, ndugu yangu. Na ile siku utaulizia, unaanza kuambia a million reasons, ni watu wengine wanakushow you've been okay like this, but unajua umefika inaitwa camel spot back in a break.
The straw,
the last straw.
The last straw, the straw that broke the camel's back.
Ndio.
And by the straw ni kitu kidogo. So yeah.
Exactly. So ukifika hapo, hawa understand kama umekuwa ukiwithstand hizi vitu zote, hii ndogo inakusumbulia nini. Unaelewa? But huyu auntie ameongea vizuri sana.
Hadi umemwita. Amesema auntie.
You know, Shatta is talking about the sorry. But I know for some couples, the way that the lady will say sorry is not to ask you, should I warm your food?
That's true.
Sisi kubali, which is very wrong.
Sasa, lakini sasa nataka kukula.
Bro, sikia nikwambie kitu.
Ama nataka the approach.
Kia aseme pole.
Yeah.
Okay. Kama ni kuomba chakula is a whole different thing. Wengine pia Lalanes sio sorry. Ijulikane tu.
You have to say it. You have to say it.
Say the word sorry.
Yes. Is it because, you know, the way, it's also the fact that I say sorry means that now there is a record of wrong. Like when I say sorry, I am acknowledging that I did wrong.
Yeah.
And number two, sasa ni iko kwa records.
You're
I
accepting.
can pull it back one day. Remember that time when this and this happened?
Yeah.
So is that also the reason why ladies don't say sorry?
Other than the entitlement and the lack of awareness and just the feeling of, you know, I'm always right, which all these are very, very huge red flags in whatever relationship. Because in any relationship, friendship, anything that, in any situation where you're engaging with someone else, you need to be able to take accountability and be able to do things like apologize and say you're sorry, like what Shatta said, izo vitu zingine, si sorry. And I wish people saw that these are not ways to apologize, because it's not just your spouse or anything. It could be even your parent or your friend. It's a very easy way to distract you from the situation at hand. And it's very easy for you to forget. Like, even parents do this thing where watakukosea, and then instead of saying sorry, because they do not know how to say sorry, they do not want to take accountability, they'll buy you stuff, or they'll pay for stuff, you know. And if you're a victim of this situation, it's very difficult for you to be able to distinguish between someone who's very genuinely sorry and someone who's just trying to distract you from the whole situation. So even you, as someone who's with someone who's toxic, for you to be able to know that it's not right when she just asks me, nikuchemshe chakula ama nini nini nini, you need to know that you matter and your feelings are very valid. And if you've been hurt, you have to have the conversation. If you sweep it under the rug and you just say, oh, sijui nini nini nini, I promise you this other person will never take accountability. They will never be able to know that and see that they're on the wrong. So they'll keep hurting you, and you'll keep taking this
baked.
I wanted to say another word. I was looking for that. That was a save.
Yeah.
So there's many reasons as to why people do not take accountability, and the most common is that they have a lot of trauma in the way they grew up. It's something that stems from mostly their childhood. It's always an underlying issue that they're already dealing with, because someone who's actively healing and working on themselves will be able to say, kwa love na kwa relationships na kwa friendships, everything, hakuna ego. It doesn't matter when ni mkubwa aje, uko na pesa aje, unafanya nini, unapendanaje. When it comes to apologizing, it's such an easy thing to do. It becomes easy the more you practice, the more you're in situations where you're able to say, I'm sorry, this is what I did. And women do that thing for where they keep records of
so this time you're sorry for this, but last week at 9 o'clock when I asked you ABCD, this is what happened.
So if she's thinking like that and she's doing the same thing to you, she's definitely projecting the kind of person she is. She's definitely scared that you'll treat her like that, because that is something she does to you all the time. So you have to be very, very aware of these red flags.
Well, something that has Shatta has mentioned it, I think you mentioned it as well.
Yeah.
Is it also such that we are also, as men, also enablers to some extent? We have a fault in that, because akijua makosa then uone anakuwa extra nice ama nakuomia food ama kama huwa hakuletei, sasa leo amekuletea, ameweka serviette, ameweka nini na nini, things are okay. So you're like, yeah, she's trying. So let me know. I'll take this. Is it also because we are enablers?
You know why when a man has been married for long, he becomes very attractive? Because there's a soft side to him. Men are generally and naturally inclined to protect women. There's just that very natural thing. That's why it's hard for a man to expose his woman, whether he's being abused or something. He just feels like, you know, she's the weaker vessel, she's the weaker person. I need to protect this. Now, in doing that sometimes, then we enable manipulation, control, toxicity, bad behavior, because you keep on just making excuses for it. And you feel that you can handle it, that you'll be the bigger person, you don't want to expose it, you don't want to call it out, you don't want to talk to anybody about it, you can handle it. And then it keeps on just getting worse and worse. There's so many situations where you will hear that a man was actually going through physical abuse for long before that thing comes out, and probably it doesn't come out through him. It will come out through somebody else when the thing has spilled over. That's when somebody will get to realize. But this has been happening. Willis, why didn't you talk about this? Because they want to feel that need to protect this person. and not knowing that the more they do that, the more this person gets entrenched in that particular behavior. Most of the controllers and the toxic people and the people who find it very difficult to say sorry have insecurities. It takes a level of self-awareness for you to become humble, because you know that you're not compromising your identity, you're not losing your position, that if you say sorry, it is not going to compromise who you are, just the same way it is said that, respect is not slavery. So it takes a self-awareness and a comfortability with who you are to be able to come out and say, look, I was wrong in this. And you can calm down and humble yourself, and you know that it doesn't reduce who you are. So anybody that displays those kind of characteristics actually has a low self-esteem, which may come now from the traumas that Roberta is talking about, how they were treated, how they were made to feel, how they were made to think about themselves, how they view other people. They're probably very competitive, and so they may be projecting on you things that they're coming with from their family and their siblings and other people elsewhere. But men are enablers to a great degree just because they feel that they need to be protectors. Yeah.
So then, if you're enablers, do you feel like then the girl child, or let's take advantage of this. If they see it once, they see it twice, shata, kasrika, usiku sako, alafu tuamke.
Ndio. Acha nikwambie, the biggest enablers is their fathers. Baba, kuanzia hapo kwa men enabling fathers, wanakuja wa kwanza. Because you bring up your daughters, ukiwaita princess, you literally treat them like a princess. Okay?
Explain what elements of princess
is like this.
Is the bad
First
one.
of all, unajua inasemekanaga mtoi hata mtoi mdema atabonda buda yake kijana atabonda madhake, si ndio? So baba unapata kwa nini imekuhitia?
Wait a minute. What's going on? What does that mean? I am going to make sure.
It's biology. You can do
Nothing personal.
Because this will go on YouTube. Listen, my son,
Nothing
we are
personal,
bonding.
Nothing personal.
You shall watch this in the future. Okay.
These fathers watakulea mtoi mdem ukimpea kila kitu anataka. Yani tunaonaga wakiwa very vulnerable. Una get? Sasa unamtreat kama mayai. Alafu kama kuna brothers, you as the father umewaonesha how to treat her. Sawa? Take care of your sister, do this, asiwezi mbulio na mtu kuinje, unaelewa? So pia wewe kama kijana ukigrow in your mind, you know unataka ku take care. Una get? Na sister yako at no point does she learn to say sorry. Even to you, wacha hata mtu mwingine. Unaelewa? Mkiona kesi, yeye ana prefer kwenda kesi na baba yako because anajua baba yake atake side yake. I've seen it happening kwangu. Like my daughter will wait. Hata kama ninge kwa nyumba saa 4 usiku. Let's not address the issue. Let's wait for that. Nifike saa 4 usiku because chances are I'll take her side. Unaona?
That is awareness.
That is awareness. Exactly. So fathers are enabling it.
Yes.
We need to know, to actually, first of all, realize we are doing it. Then, wagrow wakijua, they can say sorry. Unaelewa? Na pia hao wanaweza kukosea boy child, na boy child akikosea ananidi kuambiwa pole. Unaelewa? Pia boy child anafaa kugrow akijua, anafaa kuambiwa pole because tunagrow kitu kijua tufai kuambiwa pole. Una get? Like leo anishauti tuko sawa. Amesema pole. Because she's not shouting. Shouting is the norm. If she's not shouting, we are okay.
Then she knows that she has done something wrong.
Yeah, and that's a sorry. You take it. Because you can't expect the real sorry to come. We need to grow up knowing these things.
Talking about something CJ said there, which is the ego. And in that clip, there's a part where the lady, she's actually a therapist. She was talking about how when she was telling this lady, okay, I'm a neutral party. I think you should do A, B, C, D for this to work. Then akakwara, akasema, it's because you've seen this man is now, okay, that's not the story. It's because you want me to be my husband so you can get him. So where do you think this kind of ego stems from? Is it just a personal thing? Is it just a flaw? Is it a biological? Where do you think it comes from?
something you need to realize is that having conversations with people like narcissists and abusers and people who are toxic, chances that they will end up in an argument are like 90 out of 100%. Because they do not hear you. They do not get what you're saying. You cannot tell a toxic person, unakwanga toxic. They will find something to fight you on. They will not listen because...
So the reason that you're saying, like, I am toxic because of...
Yes. So they do not have the level of awareness where they're able to take any form of accountability. It's very difficult to advise this kind of person. It's very difficult for them to even understand what you're saying, to the point that even when they're apologizing, it's never genuine. It's just kunyamazisha story, alafu ntai bring back, ita recap, it'll always come back up because it never ends there. But something everyone, men and women, need to realize is that everything that you went through growing up, everything, your traumas, your nini, that's not your fault. That's not something that you deserved, and it's not something that anyone should ever have to go through. But as a grown-up, it is 100% your responsibility to turn your life around. It's your responsibility to change the way you relate with people, to become very self-aware, because hatuwezi endelea tu kusema Roberta alikuwa na bringing mbaya ndo maana yeye ongelesha watu vibaya. No, saizi mimi ni grown up, nafaa kukuwa na take charge of my life, knowing, you know, I cannot be rude to my husband or my boyfriend. I have to be very respectful. I have to learn all these things and unlearn all these ways that I had before I got to this point that I am. So please, let's not take such excuses for, you know, someone went through this, you know, they have an ego, they have sijui what, they have what, no.
Or the anakwanga hivo.
Or anakwanga hivo, or ati yali grow up sijui aje, nini, no. That's why before you get into situations and relationships, you have to really know people. Hang out with them, see how they handle conflict, see how they are when they're angry, see how they are when they're disappointed, see how they act when they're very happy, and how they are when you make them feel appreciated. All these things, you need to be very aware so that you know, kwa sababu hakuna kitu hard kama kujaribu kuexplainia mtu, you hurt me like this. This is what you did. And then it turns into an argument. Because by the time I'm telling you, you did this and it hurt my feelings, it's not your job to decide whether I'm hurt or not. Because the fact is that I'm hurt. Whether you accept or not, ulini hurt. So it's for us to have this discussion and see, okay, I hurt you. What did I do? How can I make it better? How can I? And that's someone who's aware and willing to change the situation for the better. But now with people who are very toxic, it's very difficult. They're never gonna see, they're never gonna hear you. That's how it is.
It's gonna be never seen. There's a good friend Alex has something on his desk with 3 monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil.
Speak no evil.
Yeah, speak no evil. Yeah, speak no evil as well. But there is a lot of evil anyway. There's a lot of evil. What happens, CJ? Because what also happened in the clip, what the lady was talking about is that shifting blame, and where then I always have to be right. Yeah. Does this stem from just chilling, or because I know it is Shatter's considered, weighted view that it's mostly friends that are misleading, that are misleading the culture. This view of it's my way or the highway, I am right and you're wrong, is it something that, again, is out of the enabling? Is it influence?
It still comes back to how the person sees themselves, their insecurities.
Okay.
That's why you'll see somebody abuse their partner and then not want their partner to leave. Because even all these things that they do, the manipulation and the control and all of that, is stemming from a fear of you leaving them. And that's why sometimes then they don't take responsibility. They are afraid. They're afraid that if they face themselves, then they will come to the realization they don't deserve you. And they can actually acknowledge, Willis is a good man. That's why they don't want you to leave. But then on the other hand, they've got this internal conflict where their fears, their insecurities are playing out and messing up this whole thing. So they're in a very crazy conflict of wanting to be with you, and then their dark side keeps on coming out, and their ancestors can't let them prosper.
Inakuwa ngumu kidogo. Yeah.
And so when you want to step out, they'll be upset with you because they feel you're victimizing them. They want to...
Wait, so in their head, hata wewe kuenda kumwacha.
Unamhurt.
Ukiwacha dem, yeye ndio
Yeah, like,
victim.
so
Yani
you're
haja
leaving
kosea.
me because,
Yes, because
you know,
yeah.
so they feel bad about that, and they get upset as well. So they want to keep you. But then again, they want you to be the person who will keep on taking their blows and keep on taking their pain and keep on taking their hurt.
When you said keep on taking the my mind went in another place, but
So
we thank God. Yes.
It's a whole conflict. Now, that person needs to get some help. That kind of a person needs to get some help.
What if the help they're getting is from, like, this group of friends who are constantly...
You see, Wallace, again, where people get help is very important because most people seek help in the wrong places.
Right.
Generally, for men, when we need to get help, I'll call you to the side. We'll meet at a certain place. We'll talk about it. It's a bit more private and it's a bit more personal. Ladies can get into a space like social media, go onto a page where everybody is faceless and nameless, and then begin to hear all these thoughts and all these philosophies of other women. So there's just this mass psychology that is coming in over here. So people begin to draw stuff from places of people who are totally impersonal, people who do not know the dynamics of your personal space, and they're just speaking very generally from pain. They're also just lashing out. Then you take that and go and run with it. If you see a man do this, then this is what it means. If you see him behave like this, this is what it means. Your man may not even know all that stuff, but then now you're judging him based on what other people are saying in the mass. It is important for people to seek help in the right places. Yeah.
Shatta, you're the one, you know, you talk about your kukuwa na katika marafiki. Mbogi.
Kamati ya roho
Yeah,
chafu.
like you're basically living your, like ni kama mko, if she has 3 close friends who are toxic, you have 4 of you in that relationship. Yeah.
Kama ni mmeenda kuhandle issue, you are handling an issue with 4 women. Not just, sio huyo wako pekee.
Yeah.
Juu before kuja kukuletea alishaipelekea hiyo committee. Waka deliberate, wakaona vile uko chini, wakampatia pointers. So ukikuja home anakungojea, waiting to start, ana unleash za huyu, anamaliza za ule, anaanza za huyu mwingine. Unaelewa? But unajua pia madam, kwambia kitu kama kwa tukifanya kwa pia hawa, madam they feel each other. Unaona, they don't understand each other. So akiwa na issue na wewe aende kuambia best yake anamfeel, ana feel kenye ana feel. Na kama ana feel kulipuka, best yake pia ataweza kulipuka na yeye. Unaona? So there is nothing constructive anaenda kuambiwa about you. Ni vile anataka tu kusikia vitu mbaya about you na ndo utapewa. Unaelewa? You even one day una solve issue, unamefanya hivi. Juu mimi naona ni kama unielewi, kama na best yako. Unaona? Tuongee. Invite your friend, I'll invite mine. Let's come tuongee. Then tuone kama mimi ndo nimechizi ama niko na point. Unaona? The friend comes, ana reason kama yeye. Automatically unajua hawa
Walikuwa pamoja.
So the best thing ukiwa na issue utaka kuhandle, waitage wote wanne. Mwambie fanya hivi, mbona na bodi yako. Ndio pale tu nyinyi wote to address issue tuko nayo.
Let's just call all of you, or you bring it up like
together.
Hapo kutakuwa na talks kweli.
Like bring it up like over dinner. Ati honey, call your friends for dinner. Then now you just bring it up because you're going to tell them anyway.
Unaelewa?
Yeah.
Juu sasa tukiwa tumekaa hivi niongee na wewe, uende tena kesho uende wakwambia ulituangusha wewe. Unaelewa? That is something else. Ulituangusha ukifanya vile tulikuambia, juu alienda akachocho. So the best thing, just call all of them. Waambieni sasa hii ndio issue tuko nayo. Sio hata mimi na mtu wangu na nyinyi. Hii ndio issue tuko nayo, abutu adresini issue. Una get? Juu sasa what do you do?
Yeah.
Unaona?
Yeah,
Lakini I am going to the first point. Please learn to say sorry. Pole. Kama usema na kizungu. Yeah, say pole. Na usiseme but. Na by the way acha nikwambie, wanaume waogopa kuambiwa sorry. Because you know you're being
going to
set
pay
up.
for it.
You're being set up. This sorry is a setup coming to you. Unaelewa?
Yeah.
Unajua today she said sorry. So you're walking on eggshells. Because the next time you do something, you will say 100 sorry
Yeah.
for that sorry.
Yeah. All right, and Shazmin is here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here as always. We have been talking about, you know, ladies, sometimes it's you. Sounds like a movie title. First of all, you watched, you know, the clip. We started with it. What are your initial thoughts just off of it?
I think it's great. You know, I like Shatta's point. Shatta kind of mentioned that, you know, for men it can become a bit hard because the first time a man says sorry, then he has to keep saying sorry and it becomes more difficult. And I sort of felt that sad. And in a way it's true because I feel the right relationship, the woman shouldn't make it hard for you to say sorry. In fact, sometimes you both don't even need to say sorry. It's the hug, it's the smile. It's not we're fighting against each other. It's we're fighting together. We're fighting for a reason. And very often, you know, before you even hit the apology, you're arguing and you're fighting because a need wasn't met. And you're fighting now, but that need was being dropped a couple of times during that week. And what I've seen is sometimes women get aggressive and it's not out of choice. They move into that masculine energy because they feel not safe enough to stay in the feminine energy. So feminine energy would be something like, Willis, you know, I want more of your time. I know you've been busy. And then a couple of days later, it's Willis, you know, if you're not on the phone, could we spend more time together? And the fourth week is, you know, in your face, I'm screaming, and I call it a neon sign. It's because now you didn't pick up on the little bits when I was trying to say it more politely, nicely. And now I feel the only way to get your attention is for me to have to scream it. And then I'm putting you in a position now to have to come and say sorry. But very often, the sorry's not what the woman's looking for. She's looking for, you know, just change it. Let's change the behavior so we don't have to repeat the sorries. So you don't have to keep saying sorry over and over and over again.
But what about when CJ mentioned it early on about, you know, the ego of the woman who, I've seen this meme several times. I've seen a meme where there are people washing the road and the caption is either say sorry or wash 40 kilometers of road, women.
I would rather wash
mopping the ocean.
Or mopping the ocean. Why do you think it's so hard?
I feel sometimes it puts women in a very vulnerable position. And I feel that's what's been lost in a relationship. It's not that I'm saying sorry to you. It's that I'm saying sorry to us, to what was said, to the damage that's done. So I think when you come from a platform of, if I say sorry, it means I'm losing.
Right.
And when you understand it's not about winning and it's not about losing, it's about both of us understanding the dynamic. We've had a disagreement. What was it about? And I don't need the apology from you. I need the reassurance we won't come back here. And if we do, it won't be as bad. We'll learn and we'll grow. So I feel women sometimes might feel that's too vulnerable for me. And maybe I've been too vulnerable a couple of times and I don't feel safe enough to keep being so vulnerable. But I feel it's beautiful if you learn the fight language of your partner. Because some women might say sorry, but that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear, you know, or you want a hug, or you want a cup of tea, or you want me to sit and give you time, love, and affection. And if I come and say sorry, it doesn't do anything to you.
Right.
So it's learn somebody's love language after a fight. What do they need beyond an apology?
Okay. All right. So I want to, Roberta, what do you think about that? Because, you know, we're really trying to pick the brain of ladies here, and we are so, we are lucky. Blessed, fortunate to be envied that you, both of you here. So what do you think about what Shaz said?
Yeah, what Shazmin said is very true. And what you said something about, you know, the ego and women always having this thing where they justify how they react after, you know, maybe they've tried to communicate and they're not being listened to, they're not being heard. What I was trying to say is that a good person is a good person. And someone who cares about you just cares about you. And they're going to show you. So you need to be able to see this is someone who doesn't even care about my feelings, they don't care about my emotions, and this is someone who's trying and consciously putting in the effort to make things better. So when someone is trying to justify their reaction of whether you hurt them fast or you did something
right
that
or wrong.
they do not like, they do not appreciate, their reaction being horrible towards you does not justify the situation. It does not justify them being horrible to you. That's why, like Shazmin said, when you have a problem, you're not fighting each other. It's you guys fighting the problem together. We need to stop. Yeah, we need to stop this division between men and women. And men are like this, women are like this. There's a reason we're different, and to be together and live in harmony, we have to have compromise and balance. We have to understand that you're bringing a different energy, I'm bringing a different energy. The best thing we can do is try to understand each other so that we can complement each other and make things work, as opposed to, when men don't apologize, women have an ego. It's not about that, because when someone genuinely cares about you, even when they're angry, even when they feel very disrespected, they're going to try, whether it's later, a month later, a week later, 2 hours later, they're going to try and understand, okay, this is the issue. So how do we work on it together? But if you're with someone who doesn't want to, I think we need to stop also having the stigma around walking out of relationships and walking out of abusive relationships, especially for men. Men are supposed to be able to pinpoint, this is a toxic woman. And for you to be able to do that, you have to be aware in yourself. You have to be very aware in your own problems and your own issues and how you like to be treated, how you like to treat other people, so that you're able to tell, this is wrong, this is not right. There's anger and then there's straight up toxicity. Yeah, so while there's women who are very toxic and there's women who are like this, you know your partner and you know your individual situation that is unique to you and your partner. So the best way for you to deal with these things is just stop fighting against each other. Stop thinking it's me against you, because it's the two of you against the issue that's at hand.
Yeah, because it gets a little bit complicated. Like it's like people are keeping score. You won last week.
Yeah.
This week I'm not going to let you win. Every time you win. So I could even now genuinely know that I'm wrong, but because we are keeping score,
you can't take accountability. It's always going to be a competition.
Yeah.
And now in that situation, then you guys are never going to be able to have the vulnerability you need, because you're never ever going to be able to just come as yourself and say, I need love. Can you please get off your phone? I need you to talk to me. You're never, because you're expecting.
Hold up. I've had that from both sides, and from what you and Shaz brought it up, but in reality, the people who are watching who are saying, wait. Kuna watu wanaongelesha kwa hivyo. That's how it's supposed to be done, because the crazy things happen, Shatta.
Yes.
True that.
Yeah.
Ai. Wasimu. Ndio hiyo simu ikupatie chakula. Let that phone serve you. You on your step.
But it's when you think about it also, it's we can all bring out the ugly in each other.
That's right.
You don't do it when you start the relationship. When you start the relationship, there's no problem saying sorry. In fact, you sugarcoat anything the other person does wrong. It's only because you stopped investing and believing in your love, and you settle so deep that the both of you feel, now I have a right to bully you, to hurt you, to talk to you a certain way. If you went in whatever relationship stage you're in right now, if you went back to how I treated you in the first 3 months of when we met, that relationship will never end. Because you're investing, you're caring, you're thinking about tone, you're anticipating their day, their mood, their behavior. And that being said, it's work. And relationships are work.
Yeah.
How do you go back there?
I'd like to know. Can I tell you how?
Yes,
if you want to go right back there, the first secret I'll give you to a woman, give her undivided presence, not gifts. Presence, which is attention, which means when I'm talking to you, I feel you're taking everything I'm saying. And that's the gift you can give a woman. You will fill her up. You've ever spent time with your wife or girlfriend and you've spent the whole day with her, and then she's like, we haven't spent time together.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I was here though.
You are watching and things are happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's about how. If you can fill a woman for 10 to 15 minutes, you can go play all the football you want. she will be so full inside because she knows this is my home, this is my safety. This man listens to me, my emotions, my eyes, my movement, what I say. She won't ever want to go anywhere else. She will eat from the palm of your hand.
So attention. So it's not that we're watching, that we're watching and we're engaging. Or we're not. I'm not watching like this. Yeah, and then you're back on your phone. Yeah, I guess that's that's a good point.
That's a good one.
A good point because
Hiyo tunaanza kuimplement.
we're gonna do that one for sure. We're gonna do that for sure. CJ, when the other thing is now, so we're now in a place where we've recognized, okay, ladies, sometimes it could be you, it could be your fault, it could be you who's causing the issue. So what do we do? How do you bring it up to your wife, your girlfriend, when you realize that it looks like you're the problem, and I am probably already at the edge, and you let them know without letting them know that this conversation you're having, it just might be it.
The last one.
It might be the one that can kind of topple me over. Like, what do you do?
You know, I want to go back into something that Roberta said,
sure.
and then we get into this. You know, when we talk about the element also of people normalizing walking out, and then when you hear Shazmin talk about the needs of a woman, that she wants your presence there, I think we also need to understand that we can also become manipulative with our needs.
Where we, it's both men and women.
Either way.
Okay.
Sasa ni women.
And I can easily decide that you are toxic based on how I feel that you need to treat me or my needs, and sometimes I may not be objective with that. You know, I remembered one day I was in a parking lot. I was just about to leave, so I turned on the car, and there was this lady who was waiting to get into the parking slot. And I stayed on for about 3 or 4 minutes, and she started screaming, like, I need to leave the parking because I'm already indicating I need to leave. And I say to her, well, it's not that I had a timer and I needed to get out for you to come in. And then she says, well, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm a Christian. And I'm thinking, what level of things? See how she doesn't even...
Did you tell her you're a pastor?
She was so blind to her own toxicity as well, because she's just seeing the fact that she needs to get into this parking slot. It's not that I was supposed to be there, then she comes in.
And when you raise it,
and it's not that when I turn on the ignition, then I've got to leave because I was still within my time. But she was so absorbed in her need that she felt my delay was toxic to her. And sometimes we do that in relationships where we are so self-absorbed that we think the other person's action is hurting us, yet it is our impatience, our insecurities, it is our second guessing, yet the other person is just acting normal, you know, because I could have still turned off the car and stayed over there. Nobody would have removed me because I was still within my time. It is also important that we do not use our expectations to manipulate the other people as well. Not to diminish what Shazmin is saying out of the 15 minutes or 10, but it's just important for us to say that, because again, some people walk out of relationships they can work on just because they will magnify their needs above what is realistic for the other person to do. You know,
that could be another show. When do you know it's time to walk away?
So there's that. I must have lost what you were asking.
What I asked was like, so how do you then have the conversation with somebody who you're probably, you know, at the end?
I think every conversation, first of all, you've got to stick to the issues. Shazmin talked about this, that you're fighting from the same corner. You're not in the red corner and the blue corner. You're not against each other. You're a team. So you stick to the issue. If what I don't like is your lack of attention, or if I'm being affected by how you spend money, how you talk to me or something, that needs to be what we address. So I don't need to extrapolate this and begin to talk about you and what kind of a person you are and begin to call you names or put on you stuff that you've not even done. If you're coming late, I just need to raise the issue that, look, I'm not okay with you coming late every time. So it is issue-based. Number two, it's got to be very respectful, because after you are done with the issues that you're dealing with, you still need to have a relationship. You're fighting for this relationship. So you don't say stuff that you will regret later. You've solved the problem, now you need to heal the hurts, because in the heat of the moment you said something silly that you shouldn't have said. So now you are done with, okay, we've agreed, I'll be coming in time, I'll be giving you the 15 minutes, but now there's how you talked to me.
Yeah, that's another thing altogether.
So always remember that you're trying to solve this issue and you want to build the relationship with this person. It's also important to know that no change will be immediate. No important and substantial change will be immediate. So even when you raise something with somebody, don't expect to see that change tomorrow. If you see that, well, good enough. But if you don't, you also have got to give it time, because those people have conditioned themselves to act in a certain way over a very long period. And you may be the very first person in their life to tell them that this is not very good. So you can expect somebody who has been doing this for like 30 years overnight to have changed it. They'll be doing that to please you. So give them time and keep them in check as well. There will be times, just like when a child is learning how to walk, there's a time when they will fall. So there'll be those times of relapse. Now, it doesn't mean that you raise it up and say, you see, I knew you couldn't do it. No, you need to walk with them. You need to walk with them. Sometimes you will ignore it because you can see the effort that this person is putting into it. So 3 months down the line, the person has been coming home in time, or they've been giving you time. Then one day, Willis is out with Shatter, they've delayed a bit. You don't raise...
That sounds like us.
You don't then come back and say, you know, you've gone back to your old ways. No, you have to assess the progress that the person has made. Sometimes we don't appreciate the progress that people have made because we are so fixated on the product that we want to see. I want to see somebody giving me time. I don't realize that they're caught up in a whole ecosystem, meaning that they have to begin cutting off some things, rescheduling themselves. They've got to give up certain things that they love as well in order to fit into this program. So it's important for people to be patient with one another as well, and then keep on conversing. Don't wait until there are issues. Keep on conversing all through. Appreciate the little wins. Say, well, there's improvement. You're doing well in this area. Let's keep it going. Yes. And don't wait until you're upset to raise issues.
Yeah, Shatter, the other thing is the fact that, you know, when just like these, Sijas mentioned, maybe there is tone, there is pre-argument, during argument, post-argument. Now, for some people, post-argument is, you know what, I've had it, I'm gone, bye. One of the things you mentioned at the start of the show is the fact that, and I think Roberta also talked about it, how people are, especially men, and I said it at the beginning, whenever any relationship ends, even your friends call you for the man, what did you do? Yeah, like what? So if there is a man who's watching who, two kinds of people I want you to talk to. The one who is just about, like I was saying, like today could be the day he had said, I'm going to talk to this lady one last time. If it doesn't work, that is it. And two, those who unfortunately have already, you know, left.
First thing, kama ulienda shule, they said in physics, every action has a reaction of the same magnitude and strength.
Right.
Okay? So if umeenda kuongea, wewe jiambie, both, anything can happen from this. I will keep this relationship, ama itaisha. Are you ready to lose the relationship? But if you're going to talk, it means you're ready. Okay? And if you're walking away from a negative person, there's nothing wrong with that. But if the relationship ni vitu una feel haueleweki, choose to change how you speak to this person also. Unaget? But then kuna point unaweza kuambia mtu kitu, you know they are doing this thing to you, but they don't, unafikiria wanakuignore ukiwaambia, but they don't understand what you're telling them. You know? A football example, poleni kama when Thierry Henry came to Arsenal, he could not score goals. He could not play football. So one day, akiongea na coach Arsene Wenger akamuuliza, do you think these people see you on the pitch? How you stand, how you position yourself? Do these people see you? You stay behind defenders. How does this person see you? Okay, and he went and changed that, and immediately started scoring goals. You know, so how you talk matters. You know, how I talk to Shaz and she understands, it does not mean it's the way I'll talk to Roberta understand. You need to understand how your person understands things. Then go speak from that point. And talk to each other, not at each other. Very important. People talk at each other, you know, and we out-talk each other. Again, that is a very big thing also.
They press violence.
Tisho ya leo ni pause. Sijui kama inawezekana hiyo Tuesday ingine tu irudiwe tu tisho. Alafu mademu ambua watch, you know, because kuna point, you know, men, nyinyi unawatch show leo. Men, let me tell you, you deserve to be told sorry. And you deserve to absorb it. Okay? Na ukiambua pole, isikae kama umethreateniwa. Sio setup na sio trap. Na pia nyinyi mademo you're saying sorry, say a sorry, a genuine sorry. You know, that we can actually feel that he said sorry. Unajua mwanaume mwenye amepitia vitu kwanza isikuwe na basi ati pole basi.
Pole basi.
Kwani hujui jokes.
Yeah.
Na pia actually you see the way you're saying you need attention. Men need attention too.
Yes.
Una get, and especially at home, that is the place you need most attention, because out here nobody owes you nothing. Out here unapambana na dunia. Now when you get home, you've had this crazy day. What you do is, first of all, they'll tell you their crazy day, and after you've listened, now they start doing other things. What do? You turn to football, you turn to your friends. At home, you need to be asked, how was your day? Na hata kama, you see, by the way, kuna mashida upile. A problem becomes big. Juu mmeignore. At some point, hata kama mjakosana na mtu wako, unafaa tu unamuuliza randomly. Kuna pale naweza kwenda kukosea. Before tufike huko, brutana, is there a place, is there anything you need me to change? Unaona? Mwambie hapa na hapa. Sana sana mademu ulizeni hiyo swali, because men bottle it. Until he decides to talk to you, anakuwaga ameamua inaisha hii relationship.
It could be, it's a wrap.
Na kuna relationship inafikaga point inakuwa sasa, zinaishaga, you have a conversation, you talk at each other, and everyone walks. Then after 2 days, you're back. You didn't handle the issues you had. Just that tempers went down. And you realize, I miss this person. And you come back. You need to understand how to talk to each other. Vizuri muelewane, bila kuleteana makasiriko. Mkifeel kunaanza ku raise temperature, mrealize sasa tumeacha kuongea, turudi chini.
I have a question, Joe. Shaz, is it true, and I know time is a little bit gone, but is it true that I heard someone say that men might check out from the relationship earlier and just try to struggle to figure out how they're going to do it physically, but because their issues have not been addressed, they have tried to talk and it's not working, you might see them leave in April, but really they left in November. So they've just been trying to figure out, okay, how do I, navigate and leave? Is that something that's true of men and how they compartmentalize, I guess?
That is interesting, because I feel the day you're ready and the day you want to leave, nothing will keep you in that relationship.
Okay.
And I feel it already takes so much for men to emotionally be vulnerable, to emotionally say something to a woman, that I feel if there's any woman listening, one is to understand your man goes out into the world and he puts on this warrior suit to go conquer it. When he comes home, be the woman that allows him to feel safe, that I can take this off and I will be here for you. If you didn't make it out there in the world, we're still making it together. This is your safe space. But it's also for men, before they check out, it would need a beautiful woman to understand what is he struggling emotionally to be able to say or to be able to feel, that me being an emotional being can bring out in him, can help him with. Because he might be feeling, I'm failing at work, I'm failing here, what's my use? Or I'm doing well at work and I'm failing here. And men don't want to fail. Men are go-getters. They want to provide. They want to put a smile on a woman's face. And if he feels I cannot do that for her, he will start to feel maybe it's easier for me to leave than struggle in this relationship. So I feel women do have a beautiful power to make it softer for men, to make men feel safe. Because I feel when your man feels safe, he will open up to you emotionally in ways. Women will be like, okay, I think I have a hairy girlfriend, and I don't know if that's what I want.
All right. Well, because of time, we're going to end it there. But No, we said no buts. Oh, well.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, however.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes. However, we do hope that you have picked up a thing or two. I guess one of the things I've constantly learned and had now in this show that it boils down to communication. If you are quiet, both men and women, nobody knows. But of importance is that this show, at least for the women, you get to kind of understand that, yo, sometimes it could go south. And sometimes I think even fellow women, or even those friends you go and talk to and tell them your problems, they know you are the problem. But they just don't want to tell you because either they want you to be like them, or you're always trying to one-up them, and now finally they're like, even gods bleed. Then they're trying to kind of, take your place. I mean, Nikanairo, character development on these streets is tough. So we do hope that it doesn't get to that extreme where it's now the end. But if it is, especially physical abuse, for me, I always say, leave. Yeah, your life is much more important. So take care of yourselves. Talk. If you can, talk. Know your person, like Shatta said, and understand how to bring up issues. And reach out to people, reach out and get some help, read material. One of the things I've learned a lot even from Bobby here is to kusoma. Soma sana. Aiishi ukitoka shule. Endelea kusoma. Yani the internet is such a, of course there's a lot of bad stuff in the net, but you can be guided. Now ukipata wezi, you can, holler at CJ Atemo, at Roberta Bobby, at loveandorgasms.com.
Wait, standing out here, man. You can't say that you've learned reading from the rest of the people, then if they can't, then they come to
no,
me.
I'm saying if you can't find helpful things are at CJ Atemo. That's what I say. At CJ has the stuff.
Expect my lawyer. Character defamation.
Character defamation. Yeah. At CJ Atemo has the stuff. Reach out to him as well as Shazmin Bank. Reach out to her as well. And Shatta Boy, also Shatta_boy on Instagram, because I realize, the people who need help. Yeah. I'm not saying Facebook is forsaken, but there is the Instagram generation that also just needs help. But everybody needs help. So reach out if you can. And if you can't reach out to any of them, holla at me. I'll connect you. Until then, successful people look like you. And the great Manchester United.